flag up, and away we go. It looked a bit of a hesitant, well, it was a hesitant start from Jeff Beale. He's been swallowed up by Jamie Keevil and Jonathan Cranston coming into turn one. So it's Lotus, well, it's all Lotuses on the top three, but it is Elan and Talbot with the V8. Oh, Stephen Pickering, take a bow, what a move in the Sunbeam Tiger, actually storming through the field. Now it looks like everybody has made it through unscathed so far. We will now see as they come onto the faster part of the circuit. Jeff Beale having a look on the inside line, trying to regain some lost ground. There's the Thompson and Wolf Tuscan V8 behind. There it is, John Wolf trying to do something about it on the outside line. On the Talbot Summit Motors, Jeff Beale up into second position as John Wolf settles behind Jonathan Crayston. There's Dean Halsey. There's the Lotus 7. Oh, that's very hesitant there from the 125 Lotus. That's Neil Sinclair. That's cost him a couple of positions to the Triumphs.
Yeah, he's dropped a long way down through the order as Neil Sinclair. He qualified 5th, but has tumbled well and truly outside of the top 10 as we are looking at the cars. They're just heading round through Rocket and through Peel at the moment, including car number 78, which is David McDonald's Triumph TR6, whilst the race leaders are propelling themselves already down through the corkscrew for the first time. It is going to be Jamie Keevil that leads the way. It is Jeff Beale that's there in second position. John Crayston in third place, starting to come under attack from the TVR Tuscan there in the hands of John Wolf, the white car with almost that martini stripe right the way down the centre of it. Now in a straight line, once they've got out probably of the banking and certainly out of Church, I expect that Tuscan to mount a real challenge for third position. He's got to be content for the moment as John Wolf, a driver we caught up with earlier on today, very much in his underwear when we interviewed him. He's gone through as he side by side, heading in towards Church Corner, can't quite unlock the door to the podium spot there from John Crayston, but now the extra gun to the V8 engine Tuscan tells. He draws himself alongside and in front, and as expected, John Wolf up to third.
And as they enter the twisty part of the lap, this is going to give the advantage back to Jonathan Crayston then in the very nimble Elan. A bit of a lock up there. Oh, we've got someone actually spinning. Oh, that's not Sinclair. That's spun in the Lotus on the infield, coming out of Church. So trouble for him. He has rejoined the track there. He is on stream, but a very long way behind the field now. He's in terrible trouble. I wouldn't be surprised if he brings that one back into the pits. But there's Jonathan Crayston on the stream still, chasing that V8 Tuscan, coming through the corkscrew now to complete another lap. That beautiful growling V8 engine under the right foot of John Wolf. We've seen them in a GVR Grand Tourer Mark III in the past, and also a Triumph GT6, I believe. We've seen Wolf and Thompson in the
they've started racing in the Triumph Sport 6 Club, as it was called back in the 1990s, and even Martin Stackpole, who's their engineer, is another driver that harks back to his racing days in the Triumph 6 Sports Club. But yeah, they've been out in that, they've been out in Lotus Elans, they've been out in Ford Falcons, a range of things over the years. But this TVR Tuscan has not given them a great deal of luck over the course of the last season or so, and that is really not wanting to put the commentator's curse on it. But the number 13 Tuscan has been troubled.
Well, they wear the number 13, so they are rather setting themselves up for a fall in that respect. And here we go, there's Stephen Pickering now that's trying to make up some ground on Jonathan Crayston coming into turn 7. I remember a wonderful battle that Stephen Pickering was in. He was in a great 5-car argument for the win at Donington a couple of years ago. Dean Halsey was in that one, along with Simeon Kodosh in a Corvette, who he eventually won that particular race. Bernie was who runs the Bernie's V8. He was very, very happy about that. His lad doing very, very well. There is Dean Halsey in the freshly rebuilt number 240, chasing Phil Otley in the rarely seen Reliant Scimitar, doing pretty well. That's 6th they're having an argument for as they are coming to complete another lap. There's the Tuscan, there's the Elan, and there's the Sunbeam Tiger just coming through the shot as well. A wonderful 4-car argument, as mentioned, for 6th position. They're all fairly equally balanced when it comes to kind of raw power and manoeuvrability. Actually, 2 of our 240Zs are pretty close together. There is Dean Halsey in his 240 with Dave Roberts. We've seen him in Capri's in the past, but he's right on the tail of Dean Halsey.
And what's important for that battle is it's for the lead of the class. So the orange Reliant Scimitar of Phil Otley under pressure from Dean Halsey. Dean Halsey has got not that far behind him Dave Roberts in his 240Z, and they're all fighting away for swinging 60s Class G. And now, has Dean Halsey got the overlap here on the Scimitar? Yes, he has. Through goes the Datsun 240Z, takes the place away, but more importantly, takes the class lead away.
That he does. He's, as we said before, he's been quite successful as time has gone on in his Datsun 240. So Class G for the Swinging 60s is anything between 2 and 3 litre, and also anything under 2 litre for a six-cylinder engine, if I can say the sentence properly. For Class H is anything over 3 litre, which we don't have any H's with us this time around. But Dave Roberts, trying to cut back underneath Phil Otley, couldn't quite do it. Coming through the corkscrew, being chased by Bill Watt, retired airline pilot, in the next of the Lotus Elands.
Yeah, Bill Watt again, another long time racer in the Classic Sports Car Club. I don't think I've ever seen his car in any other colour than white with that red stripe down the centre of it, so he's never changed the livery over the years. Now, is this another place Phil Otley is going to lose? Yes, it is. Diving through goes the second of the 240Zs. Dave Roberts gains the place at the wheel of the number 74 car, so having lost one place to one 240Z, Dean Halsey, who was really pulled away in the last lap or so. Through goes Dave Roberts, so the orange Reliant Scimitar has now lost a further place. That will drop it down into 8th position, and the next of the cars that's going to be queuing up behind it will be Bill Watt at the wheel of the Lotus Elan, who might lose out on pure grunts to the bigger engine capacity Scimitar, but that little Lotus is going to be very nimble, isn't it, the top part of the circuit, round through Rocket and Peel and down through the corkscrew.
Well, there you go. You visibly saw just how much ground that Bill Watt was able to close in on the bigger engine Reliant Scimitar there. There's 3 litres under the right foot of Phil Otley, but only 1.6 for Bill Watt. But that's not stopping him from making his way through the field on the inside line, coming through turn 9, but can't quite hold it. Little bit more horses available to Phil Otley. Has managed to defend that position coming down towards the corkscrew this time. But Bill Watt is very experienced in that car. He's been in Lotuses for a very long time, and is probably going to lose out for the first half of the lap again. You can see Dave Roberts just going through the shot there. Bill Watt having a look on the inside line, coming through turn 1 before the Scimitar has a chance to get all its horses galloping. You've got David McDonald in the next of the Triumphs, following him, being followed by the 121 car, which is the 121. I've forgotten because I'm looking at the wrong set of notes. My apologies.
Chris Edwards.
Chris Edwards, thank you.
What we do need to keep an eye is also what's going on for the lead of the race, because on that lap we just saw a new fastest lap of the race to the car in 2nd position, which is Jeff Beale. 1 minute 17.210 from Jeff Beale. That closes the gap down to just 1.4 seconds first to second place, so that's something that's worth keeping an eye on, whilst for the moment we still concentrate on the battle that's going on for 8th and 9th position. Phil Otley at the wheel of that orange Scimitar has been a busy old chap, hasn't he? Every time he's looked in his mirrors there's a car there, and every time he's under attack. This time it's from Bill Watt, who isn't quite close enough as they head round through Peel. Now, is he going to be able to do anything to try and work the Elan through and ahead of the Reliant Scimitar whilst they dive their way down through the corkscrew? Not really an overtaking place. His best bet would be to maybe wait until turn number 1 and have a nibble there. For the lead of the race, though, Jamie Keeble still out front and leading, but still not that far away is Jeff Beale, is he?
No, your early prediction is certainly proving true. The top 2 absolutely sprinting away. With Jeff Beale's relatively poor start, he has reeled Jamie Keeble back in. Who was the quicker one last time around? Jamie Keeble was the quicker by less than a tenth of a second between the two. Jamie Keeble has worked on that Lotus Elan for a great deal many years, 1.7 litres to his advantage, whereas Jeff Beale has been in command of the Turbo Sunbeam Lotus again for a long time, 2.5 litres under his right foot. But that's a car that regularly races pretty much anywhere where it's eligible. You'll see regularly Jeff Beale putting that into different categories here in the Classic Sports Car Club as well. Now he's very much got his sights set on Jamie Keeble, new fastest lap of the race as well, going to the Sunbeam Lotus in the 2nd position, the number 63, 1:16.937, going to Jeff Beale as Mark Warrell makes his way down to the pit lane, see who we can catch, and a helicopter flying past. Well, there is a RAF airbase nearby, but well, we get everything over. There's a fair amount of boats out in the water, and now we have a helicopter flying past. Slightly further down the field, there is the number 52 car. Now that is Mike Stevenson in his Datsun. That's the 3rd of our Datsun 240s. The battle for the lead continues to intensify. They're actually gaining, well, they're going through the back markers now. So there is the Stevenson Datsun 240. Fairly new car to Mike Stevenson, I believe. Or certainly new to the club. And it looks like, yeah, you can definitely see that gap has come down again. I mean, 7/10 of a second is not exactly huge, but Jeff Beale does seem to have the pace advantage over Jamie Keeble at the moment. But Jamie Keeble may well have just been keeping a little bit in reserve. A flash of the lights from Beale there. Not quite another fastest lap, but was faster of the two. Of course, they're working their way through traffic, so he's going to slow them down a little. And they're basically representing the two different categories. So Jamie Keeble is one of the swinging 60s. He's in Class L, which is for Lotus cars. And Jeff Beale is in the A70, which is for future classic cars of anything built between 1970 and 1980 of over 3 litres in class. But even though he's even though that's a 2.4 litre car, it is still classed in the A category. Depending on the power output, the course officials may reclassify a car depending on its overall performance. You can just hear how the engine just winds up ready to go. I wonder whether Jeff Beale just cooked his tyres a little bit. Jamie Keeble hasn't had an awful lot to defend against. The pair of them are some 25-ish seconds ahead of the next car down the road, which is the Wolf Thompson Tuscan V8s. And Jeff Beale is in, so this could have also been why he was maybe backing off a little bit on that lap. Ideal time to cool the tyres down if he's cooked them too much. Perfect time to bring the car in, serve the pit stop. Now this is a quick as you can pit stop. Last time I read the regulations it was. Now these are subject to change, but for the quick as you can pit stops, it's bringing the car to a halt, engine off, straps undone. He's actually tripped over his own serviceman there. Shut the door, open the door, get back in, do the belts up, get the engine going, and off we go again. And that is exactly what they're going through. As the pit lane procedures now get underway. Now the reason why the pit stop procedures are different class to class, the club put the vote, or allowed the club to vote for what pit stops they would prefer, and each category's contestants basically voted for one way or the other. So that is why we see a mixture of the two classes. So we see a Lotus parade going on there. That's Niall Sinclair in the 125 car. That's the Lotus 7 we saw spinning a little bit earlier on. He's chasing the 126 Lotus Elan. That's David Shackleton. And also Brian Cohen in the 331 car. So definite display of Lotus there. There is the Wolf & Thompson Tuscan V8 working his way through. That looks like it's turn 8, which is a rocket out. And up the hill towards Peel, turn 9, where we saw the Chamberlain Carruthers car go a little bit wide. He was at that spot where it happened. V8 growl as it comes back down the hill. Bit of a mixture of cars they have. They have the TVR Grand Tourer Mark III, which they share, which has an MG, an MGB engine, or an MG midget engine in there. And then they have this roaring 5-litre V8. There's 331. That's Brian Cohen. He's brought his car in to go through the mandatory pit stop. So you actually see now he's actually done the stop. He's gone back in the car. He's being belted back up again. The door must close, and then the engine must start. The engine cannot be started before the belts are done up. That's Dean Halsey bringing his Datsun in. Going through the same procedure there. Now they will be penalised if they go through the procedure incorrectly. You see Dean Halsey. So there you go. Shut the door, open the door, back in again, and then belts up. The engine cannot be started until the belts are secure. Also, if they undo the belts too early, they will also incur a penalty for that. It's a bit of trouble for Dave Roberts' number 74 Datsun. It's being pushed at the end of the pit lane. They're pushing it out. Oh, that's a shame. It obviously can't get going again. Or they're trying to bump start it. Oh, it looks like, have they been able to bump start it backwards? That's slightly unusual. Yep, they have. They've managed to bump start the car backwards. That's impressive. And you're hearing Dean Halsey struggling to get his car going again. And away he goes. So Dean Halsey then was in 5th position when he came in. Now resume his racing then. There's Bill Watt and Phil Otley continuing their argument. Now they were in 6th. It's a battle for 6th position, which has now gone the way of the Lotus Elan rather than the Reliant Scimitar. bright yellow car. Had a break from racing, or a break from CSCC in 2021, I believe. But, glad to see him back with us. Who is next down the road? It's the McDonald Frost car that's next from them. The Triumph's going through the shop. There's Bill Watt's car, so that makes me think that Phil Otley's come in. Can't quite see from my commentary position whether the Scimitar's come in the pits or not. Yes, he has. I've just seen him come into view. There's Niall Sinclair, the Lotus 7 going through the shop on the stream. There's one of the Allowns getting very, very squiggly. That's Brian Cohen from the in the white one. And the Triumphs having an argument on the way down to the first turn. That's the 121 car, which was Chris Edwards, arguing with the number 15 car, which is Steve Chapman. There's the 151 you can see on stream. That is the Donald Laird, Kieran Bailey Lotus Elan TR4, Lotus Elan S4, beg your pardon. David McDonald, beg your pardon, Donald Laird started that one, so Kieran Bailey now getting into there. There's the 331 on the stream again. Brian Cohen now in, so now the pit stop's done, he's in 14th position. Not many cars yet to serve the pit stop. Still a bit of time for them to do though. So they have until 10 minutes left on the timer before the pit window closes. There is Niall Sinclair coming down towards turn 9. And there is the Wolf and Thompson TVR Tuscan. Now changing hands to Dave Thompson. John Wolf started festivities in that one. John Wolf was interviewed in partial dress, shall we say, for the pre-show. Up running again. Everyone just making sure the belts are done. The door can still be open when the engine's started, but of course the car can't move until the door is shut. There's Dean Halsey in the 240 car. That's now in 9th place. Now, it must have been a very worrying moment hitting the barrier at 80 miles an hour at Thruxton. One of the fastest circuits on the calendar. But it looks absolutely immaculate. Oh, it's Brian Cohen! He's had a spin in the 331 car. That's just on the exit of the banking, as well, on the entrance to church indeed, where that's gone wrong. So the 331 Lotus squiggling away on the grass. Of course, that's one of the quicker parts of the circuit. That was Phil Otley in the Scimitar just coming past. Now Brian Cohen getting back up to speed. No damage, it looks like, on the car. The wall is quite some distance away from the circuit, so they've got time to bring the car to rest before the wall intercedes. There's the number 13. That is now Dave Thompson in charge of the V8 Tuscan. Getting his way through turn 8. There's the recovering Brian Cohen. Oh, bit of a wide line coming through turn 7. That's Rocket in. And then turn 8, which is Rocket out. It's Niall Sinclair in the Lotus 7. Now there's Jeff Beale. He's up to 3rd now. Pit stop's done. Jonathan Crayston is in. So the lead will go back over to Jamie Keevil, with Jeff Beale closing him down as quickly as he can. So yet again, it's going to be Keevil and Beale towards the sharper end. Fill up here again. As Mark Burrell has found someone to have a chat to down in the pit lane.
Yeah, I have. John Wolf has just jumped out of the number 13 TVR Tuscan and hand it over to Dave Thompson. John, what a fantastic start from you.
Well, I got to say, I do good starts, but I wasn't expecting to have to do it from 8th. I mean, we weren't so good in practice, but, you know, walking around the paddock in my underpants has obviously got me fired up for the race.
Yeah, sorry, we caught up with you in your pants earlier on. It all got a bit tight, though, heading up to turn 1. That great start moved you up with cars 2 and 3 rows ahead, and, oh, it looked close.
Yeah, it felt very close. What I did was I breathed in. And as I breathed in, it made me slightly narrow, and I was able to get through the little tiny gap that was left. Luckily, well, you know, great driving, didn't hit anybody. Nobody hit anybody at all. I mean, it was terribly close. But, you know, I managed to get from that 8th slot to, I think, 3rd-ish after a couple of corners. So I was really happy with that, really happy.
Hard, warm stint out there. Hardly look as though you've broken a sweat.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm doing my best to not look as though I've broken a sweat. In fact, I'm a bit damp. But it was just tremendously exciting. You know, this place is so fantastic, and it's just all corners. And what you forget is that there aren't really any straight bits.
always something to work on. Dave's out there doing some hard work now. Fingers crossed for a good result.
Yeah, I go and give him the chivvy up on the pit wall. Sometimes he needs a bit of verbal encouragement, but and a bit of a bit of hand waving. But he'll be up there because I've done it. He'll be up there, and hopefully we'll get a good result if the car stays together.
Well, we'll let you go and chivvy him up, and we'll hand back upstairs to Chris Buxton.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. You can always rely on a charismatic answer from John Wolf, can't you? Oh, fantastic. So then, the lead going back over to Jamie Keevil and his Lotus and Lamb. So plenty of battles going on though. Generally, it's people trying to find some space to continue their merry way. It's a bit of a smaller field in this particular race, only 18 cars in this one. Jonathan Grayston has worked his way back up into 6th position. Everybody has pitted now. Oh, that's the number 15 car. That's Steve Chapman in the Triumph TR4. Having an argument with Mr. Grayston. Well, that's Mike Stevenson. Oh, that's Jamie Keevil. Jamie Keevil's gone off. He's pulled that one off. The race leader. His car has failed him. Now that's coming through Church, turn 4. He doesn't seem to be in a hurry to get that one going again. So whatever has happened to our race leader, and out of the car he gets. So that is terminal for the number 9. And he's going to have a look under the bonnet as well. Are we going to see steam pluming out? So the fact that he's taken the bonnet off and then gotten out of the way, that would indicate there is a overheating problem. And he's trying his best to get out onto the service road. It circles the circuit, so that's going to give an easy run for Jeff Beale, assuming that his Sunbeam Lotus doesn't let him down. Oh, what a shame for Jamie Keevil. It was looking good for another Keevil-Beale tussle for the top spots, but that's motor racing for you. Hopefully he'll be able to pants that one up and get that car back out on the road for tomorrow's 40-minute race. So as a reminder, we will see all of our cars again, all of our surviving cars I should say, in the 40-minute race, so a slightly longer race for tomorrow. And depending on which weather report you look at, it may be slightly inclement as well. So we'll see what happens with that. Steve Chapman in his Triumph TR4. There's Brian Cohen in the treble 3. That's 331. I can read, I promise you. Now, Brian Cohen is in 16th. Chapman is in 14th, so Dave Roberts in his 74 car is out there somewhere. There's the number 60, that's Bill Watt. He is in what will become 7th position with Jamie Keevil now having parked his car. Niall Sinclair in the 125 car. Now he was hot on the heel of the TR4 of the number 10 car, which is David Bailey last time around. There is David Bailey, so they've actually swapped around in the course of the lap. TR4 seeing what he can do. 6.5 minutes remaining of this race. It's our 4th race of the day. We have another 2 for today, and we do it all over again, and then we have our Magnificent 7 categories joining us tomorrow as well. There's Jeff Beale working his way through the crowd. There's the 52, which is the 3rd of our Datsun 240s as mentioned. That's Mike Stevenson. So getting to grips with the car. As we see the number 15, the Triumph TR4, Steve Chapman with Dean Halsey. Oh no, that's the Wolf and Thompson. That's the Wolf and Thompson Tuscan. That's a sentence to say, isn't it? That was from 3rd. Now I can't see where that's come to rest. But from 3rd position, the V8 Tuscan has failed. Can it get going again? We will see. Well, this is an opportunity now for Phil Otley in the Reliance Scimitar to get going. Yes, he has. So the 13 car is up and running again. Now, I didn't quite see where that is up at turn 3. That's up at the banking somewhere because I can now see him coming through Church. So he must have had grief. I will suspect he stalled, which is what cost him a lot of time. There's Phil Otley with the 126 car right behind. So that's Dave Shackleton in his Lotus Elan. Now Phil Otley is in 4th. And we'll see when they come over the line whether, yeah, they must have swapped position with the Wolf and Thompson car. Oh, there's Jonathan Grayston. Not wanting to be left out of the festivities. Yeah, so Phil Otley is just coming through the corkscrew now, whereas the Wolf and Thompson car is there. So he, now coming through the corkscrew himself. So we may well have a fight for the last podium position in the remaining 4.5 laps. So in the shot on the stream, you can see Otley, Grayston, Shackleton, and Thompson. Now, Dave Shackleton's not in this particular fight as far as position is concerned. So he's likely just to kind of get out of the way of the Wolf and Thompson TVR Tuscan that's going to come through. But that there, between Phil Otley and John Grayston, is currently a battle for the last podium spot. Now, Jeff Beale and Stephen Pickering are long since gone up the road, 18 seconds pretty much separating both of those two. But if Dave Thompson is able to close in on this particular squabble, and here we go again, we've got Phil Otley defending from a Lotus Elan. John Grayston gets a great drive on the exit of turn 8. He's going to have the inside line for 9. But then is the advantage going to go back to Phil Otley when they get through to the straighter parts? I don't quite say straights, because the only straights we're not actually using, which is the Tom Price straight. Into the corkscrew. Phil Otley just needs to bide his time and keep the horses under control. Wider line there from John Grayston to maximise his run down the start-finish straight. And there's the Tuscan. So we are going to have a three-way fight for third. Fantastic in the closing stages of race number 4 here in Anglesey for the Classic Sports Car Club. Elan leads Scimitar, leads Tuscan. What a great mixture of cars. The smallest engine of the three actually leads this particular trio. 1,558 cc's in the S4, 3 litres in the Scimitar, 5 litres in the Tuscan. Tuscan's not there yet, but he's certainly going to be gaining on them. He was about a second and a bit quicker than the pair of them last time around, was Dave Thompson. Phil Otley's going to have to bide his time. He doesn't want to lose too much ground on the Elan ahead of him, but this is where the Scimitar's been a little bit weaker than the nimble Elans. And there's the Tuscan that's homing in on the pair of them. Bill Watts, beg your pardon, there's Niall Sinclair that's gotten ahead of the 121 car. That is Chris Edwards in the Triumph TR4, you can see on the tower. But in fairness to Phil Otley, he has managed to maintain his distance to Jonathan Grayston. Lotus Elan doing a great job of defending, but he's going to have a lot more horses to defend against now. A bit of a slide there from Dave Thompson. As they come over the line, now Grayston is suddenly listed in 5th. Whoa, and a big forward slide from the V8 Tuscan there, coming through turns 1 and 2. Are the tyres a bit too hot, or is Dave Thompson a bit too eager? We'll see. Now, that looks very much like a transponder issue for Jonathan Grayston, because he's now jumped back up into 3rd. I'm not seeing a penalty being awarded to him, so screaming down through Schoolgate and School, the Tuscan is easily dispatched the Scimitar. Is he going to be able to pick up the Elan before the checker flag falls? The checker flag is actually being readied now, a minute early. So the winner for race number 4 is Jeff Beale in the Talbot Sunbeam Motors. Second is going to be Stephen Pickering in the Sunbeam Tiger. The Who is going to claim 3rd. The checker flag is there. You can see it's being waved. There's Niall Sinclair coming through. Now Who is going to pick up that 3rd position? So, well, actually, Jeff Beale's been awarded a penalty. So it's actually the victory is going to go to Stephen Pickering in the number 6 car. The Sunbeam Tiger, with Jeff Beale being penalised, is now taken 2nd position. And Jonathan Grayston does manage to fend off the advances of Dave Thompson. So it's Pickering from Wolf Thompson from Phil Otley. There's Jeff Beale has been awarded a penalty. What he's been awarded a penalty for, I'm not entirely certain. It could be speeding in the pit lane, or not 100% certain what the penalty was for, but Pickering is going to claim the race win. I'm sure he'd be very, very happy about that. I mean, that Sunbeam Tiger is an awesome bit of kit. Jeff Beale, I mean, he had that one won, so quite what that penalty was for, not entirely certain at this stage. Let's see if I can find a notification on why that penalty was given. It could be, I mean, if it is speeding in the pit lane, that's a 60 seconds been added to his time. So I suspect that's what it is. Oh, there's the stranded Lotus Elan of Jamie Keevil. But there is now your race winner. Car number 6, Stephen Pickering, the Sunbeam Tiger. Yeah, he looks pretty happy about that. So let's summarise the standings as they currently look before any further steward's intervention. It is a win for number 6, Stephen Pickering in the Sunbeam Tiger. In second is Jonathan Crayston in the Lotus Elan S4. Third is the Wolf Thompson TVR Tuscan V8. Fourth is Phil Otley in the Royal Alliance Scimitar. Fifth is Jeff Beale in the Topple Sunbeam Lotus. Sixth, Dean Halsey in the rebuilt Datsun 240Z. Seventh, Bill Watt in the Lotus Elan. Eighth is Edwards in the Triumph TR4. Ninth, Niall Sinclair in the Lotus 7. 10th is Bailey in the Triumph TR4. 11th is the 331 Brian Cohen Lotus Elan. And 12th is Steve Chapman in the Triumph TR4. 13th is the Dave McDonald and Bailey Frost Triumph TR6. They also incurred a penalty as well, along with the 126 car of Dave Shackleton in the Lotus Elan in 14th. 15th is the Donald-led Kieran Bailey at Lotus Elan S4. 16th is the Mike Stevenson Datsun 240Z, and those number 74 was the Dave Roberts Datsun, and the one car that didn't see the flag, sadly, Jamie Keevil in his usually all-conquering Lotus Elan. I mean, would have been an interesting battle if we'd seen him cross swords with Jeff Beale, but a last-minute penalty for Jeff Beale has seen him tumble down to 5th, but that's motor racing for you. Fastest lap still belonged to the Topple Sunbeam Lotus anyway, but once the cars have made their way back to the holding area, Mark Werrell will find our top 3 and get their views and thoughts on as the racing continues through this gloriously sunny day on the Welsh coastline. That's Jeff Beale's car being recovered back to the pit lane. Again, a great shame that his car had to come to a stop. At least the diff remained intact this time. Hopefully he's able to get that one fixed and ready to go for the second race tomorrow. Now the grid is formed for each race for their second races by the results of today's racing, so Jamie Keevil will be starting from the back if he is able to take part in tomorrow's 40-minute race. Makes the race a little bit longer to give him a chance to make his way through the field, but he certainly will do. He's got the pace and the car to do it, as long as he can sort whatever ails the poor little number 9. And I bet Steve Pickering is very, very pleased with that. Jeff Beale may be a little bit unhappy by that. The rules are the rules, assuming that is a speeding in the pit lane penalty. Judging by where he was when he finished and where he ended up, that does look like it was 60 seconds that was added to his race time. Yeah, I'm not seeing a notification on what that penalty was for just yet, but that will come through, and we'll hopefully have that confirmed before the next race. But, Jeff Beale certainly with the fastest lap of the session by quite some distance. The only car anywhere close to him was Jamie Keevil's Lotus Elan, as Mark Werrell predicted. It was indeed those two for a while. So as the last of the tidying up is being done, circuit being readied for the next race of the day, and Mark Werrell has caught up with our top 3.
Yeah, we've got John Crayston. Unfortunately, the race winner had already disappeared into the pit lane, but we've got John Crayston who finished in second place. John, talk us through the race.
Well, I got a good start and managed to get ahead of the Sunbeam briefly. but he came past me in no time, and then the two disappeared off. But yeah, fairly trying to keep the Sunbeam Tiger behind me for the first half of the race, then pit stops, and then coming out and trying to figure out where you are. And then here I am.
Yeah, the pleasant surprise that I informed you of.
Yes, thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Another race to look forward to tomorrow. Step higher tomorrow.
Well, we can hope. Yeah, we can always hope.
Well done. Congratulations on second place. And we'll grab a quick word with the driver we haven't caught up with. We've already spoken to John Wolfe a couple of times, so we'll grab Dave Thompson this time. Dave, third place a podium despite a rally crossing TVR at one point.
Yeah, I thought I'd just mix it up a bit, and have a look at the infield. It looked quite pleasant and green, so I had a look at that, but it was a bit bumpy for me, so I got back on the track.
A bit of a moment. What was it? A few people saying it's a bit slippy out there.
Really, yeah, turn one just became incredibly slippery, and the TVR's a very short wheelbase, and once it starts going, and with the amount of grunt it's got, you've got to be pretty good to get it back on, and I'm obviously not that good.
But good finish in the end, from 8th on the grid to finish on the podium overall.
Yeah, fantastic. When we were talking in the collecting area before the race, we both just sort of said, look, just enjoy it. We're not going to get anything out of this. And then, you keep going, perseverance, and we're on the podium. It's fantastic.
And you can do it all again tomorrow as well with another smile on your face.
Looking forward to it. It'll be great. Thank you.
There we go. Sadly, we didn't get the race winner. He's already disappeared into pit lane. We can also get ready for the next of the races that's coming up, which will be our penultimate race of the day. So let's hand you back upstairs to Chris Buxton.